I think that VELO is a sleeping giant. And why is that? It's because I believe that during this bull run, it could hypothetically go to the price of $1. And of course, that's not financial advice. Also, that's not a guarantee. But I believe that they're in a very unique position in a sense that not many projects out there are focused on what they're doing. Let me show you what I'm talking about, because if we take a look at VELO, it's a blockchain-enabled financial system and decentralized settlement network that is designed to make the transfer of value between one country to another more efficient. Now, this may sound kind of complicated. People are like, oh man, what is this all about? But let's simple things down. Quite essentially, they're focused on cost-effective cross-border payments and as well as remittances. Now, oftentimes people ignore the remittance part though, because we all know that the payments market is currently worth over $2 trillion. That's massive. Everyone knows that. But the special added sauce, I would say, right, again, is the remittance aspect. Because if you think about it, people do need an efficient solution for this. Because let me give an example of what remittance is. Let's say I'm from Brazil, right? Let's say I'm from Sao Paulo, and then I'm working in Tokyo, Japan. Let's say that's the case, right? And then let's say I have some family back home. If I work there, most likely I'm going to send income back, right? Of course, if we care about the family. But even besides that, when we send it back, or should I say when I send it back in this case, what happens is that it's remittance, again. So, of course, there are many international workers out there. Many people work abroad, and they need an efficient solution. And even if we take a look at this, right, according to Grandview Research, the global digital remittance market is expected to exceed over $60 billion by 2030. So yeah, that's a lot right there, over $60 billion. That's just basically 5 years away at this point. That's insane. But even beyond that, we take a look at how, when it comes to VELO, they're just not focused on remittance like overall initially, right? If you take a look at it, what were they initially focused on? They were initially focused on the Southeast Asian region. Now, why is this amazing? Because if you actually take a look at it, there's a lot of, international workers there. For instance, we take a look at, according to something called BPB, in 2020, so keep in mind, this is nearly 5 years away at this point, but even besides that, there was nearly 24 million Southeast Asians living outside their country of origin. So you could only imagine, the remittance there. And again, there's probably more now, because again, that's nearly 5 years ago, so you could only imagine there's potentially more. So I think that's a genius move right there when it comes to VELO. Focus on such a unique thing, focus on such a niche market, I would say, and if there really isn't that many good competitors, guess what's going to happen? VELO naturally is just going to, really take off once, the FOMO and hype for projects that are focused on remittances, so to speak, really does kick in. So I think that's very amazing. They're anticipating the wave as opposed to chasing it. A lot of other projects out there, they start focusing on a market once it pops off. But I think that's a little too late. VELO, man, they're in such a unique position. But even beyond that, we take a look at VELO's also focus on something that is also often overlooked. And what is that? That's CDFI. Now, CDFI, what that stands for is centralized, decentralized finance. Now, some people out there, they've heard about decentralized finance, they've heard about centralized finance. However, in some cases, they rarely hear about CDFI. But catch this, right? Because when you take a look at CDFI, oftentimes people like to say, it's a little bit too regulated. They think that it's a little bit too, rigid, right? They want something a little bit more loose. But then when they switch to DeFi, sometimes, even though I'm a very big fan of DeFi, by the way, sometimes people don't really like that because they're like, decentralized finance, kind of like, it's just wild. It's like rowdy. It's kind of like a frat house. Some people may think that way, but I like DeFi. But even besides that, what is like a best of both worlds type of scenario? I'm not talking about the Hannah Montana song. I'm talking about, again, best of both scenarios. That's CDFI. It takes good aspects from CeFi, aka centralized finance, but then also takes good aspects from DeFi, aka decentralized finance. Quite essentially creates like a hybrid solution. It's like a hybrid engine, right? Electrification, but also combustion as well. If you know, you know. But even besides that, this is how revolutionary, VELO is. Now, it really doesn't end there, though, because if you take a look at VELO overall, it's very diverse. You take a look at, for instance, right? It has something called Quantum, a one-stop lightning speed remittance network. You also take a look at Universe, a multi-chain super decentralized exchange. Also on top of that, Nova Chain, an affordable universal blockchain network, also as well as Orbit, a crypto super app, and last but not least, even something like Warp, which is a multi-chain cross-chain bridge. So anyway, I take a look at it, this is very amazing when it comes to VELO, such a diverse and complete project. But guess what? It doesn't end there. Now, it feels like a workout probably at this point, but come on, man, this is how amazing VELO is. And of course, it's a good one at that. You take a look at how they have a stable coin called USDV. Now, some people, they be cringe at this because they're like, oh man, caralho, boha, there's too many, stable coins out there. We don't really need another one. But in my opinion, hey man, so what if there's another one, I think the more the merrier because it gives more options. But even besides that, we take a look at how, when it comes to USDV more specifically, we take a look at VELO's involvement with BlackRock. And yes, you heard that right. BlackRock, pretty much one of the biggest things out there. But even besides that, more specifically with BlackRock's tokenized short-term treasury fund into their USDV stablecoin. Oh man, this is very amazing right here. Quite essentially having an involvement in a sense, right, with BlackRock through USDV. I mean, this is how legendary, VELO could be. It's very special as of right now, often overlooked though. Oftentimes people say, oh, Dogecoin's better, Shiba Inu. But come on, in terms of utility, this is pretty much as real as it gets. However, it doesn't end there as well because we take a look at, they recently had a collaboration with the Laos Bullion Bank to integrate gold into the blockchain. So yes, that's just very amazing in my opinion. So anyway, take a look at it. I mean, when you take a look at VELO, this is just pretty much the real deal. You take a look at involvements with BlackRock, right? Laos, a very amazing place. My friends have been there, right? They say, hey, there's many amazing Buddhist temples there. You take a look at, again, just VELO as an overall package, just very wonderful stuff. So anyway I view it, I think VELO, again, is pretty much a no-brainer pick for me. People like to say, oh, wow, it's caca, it's trash, all this type of stuff. But no, man, I love VELO overall. I also love another VELO, though, called Velodrome. But besides that point, that's a decentralized exchange on Optimism. But yeah, you get my point, right? I think this VELO is amazing as well. And at the price of $1, with all that being said, is it really like this crazy, random nonsense pipe dream? No, I don't think so. I mean, if it were to go to the price of $1, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $7.5 billion. And not too bad, man. I mean, SHIB reached around 40 billion, Dogecoin reached over 80 billion. This is like peanuts. Now, granted, VELO has way less fans, but again, just reaching way less than that is already very amazing. Now, some people think it's bearish, but no, I disagree. I think, $1 is hypothetically a very realistic price target, especially, when you consider how that's actually over a 60x from here. So it's not bad at all. But even besides that, we take a look at the Bitcoin ETF. That's massive. The number of institutional investors, enterprise adoption, that's massive for Bitcoin. You combine that with the fact that there's currently more crypto owners than ever before in history, over 500 million, according to Crypto.com research. So with all those amazing factors, Bitcoin can't, let's say, hypothetically go to the price of, $150,000 during this bull run. I think that's hypothetically, again, very realistic. And I think as Bitcoin does do that, it's only fair to assume that altcoins, much like VELO, they're going to go along with the ride. Now, of course, nothing I say is financial advice, but it really might happen in the very near future because you take a look at how, historically speaking, altcoins, they typically peak as a worst-case scenario around a year and a half after a Bitcoin halving event, around 18 months. The last Bitcoin halving event happened back in April, so 18 months is basically October of next year, 2025. So historically, that's a worst case, like around a year from right now. Now, granted, could it happen sooner? Yes, and that would be great news for me. But let's see it happen a little bit later. I'm going to still stick with my strategy anyways, which is dollar cost averaging. So anytime an income, I'm acquiring, I'm holding, and I'm just waiting. That's it, because I think this bull run could be so special. There's more crypto owners right now when compared to 2021. You take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, also the Ethereum ETF. These are amazing factors. Everyone thought 2021 was amazing, but I think there's much better positive factors going on as of right now. And all I got to do is really just stay patient because I think, around 6 months, a year from right now, things could look so different. And again, I just got to stay patient and stick with my strategy, dollar cost averaging, anytime an income, acquiring, holding, and just waiting, because VELO at the price of $1 during this bull run with all those amazing factors that I mentioned throughout this whole video. I just don't see why not. I don't think $1 is crazy. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.